Well, good morning to you. Well, it might not be morning for you, but it's morning for me, and the sun is shining beautifully, and I'm surrounded by all of my luscious plants and greenery, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good, and I'd like to share with you feeling good. Let's go through another journey for 5 minutes. A journey on something maybe you've heard, maybe you have not, and it's called organ language. The first time I ever heard of organ language was in a self-hypnosis book that was my first book in hypnosis, and it was called Self-Hypnosis, Its Techniques and Uses in Daily Living by Leslie LeCron. Look for it sometime. It's a older book, but it's got a wealth of knowledge in it. In one of his chapters, he speaks of organ language. Organ language is just an interesting statement. What does it mean? Does it mean I'm talking about my heart? Could be. Could be. I used to use a phrase often when I felt compassionate for somebody. I felt empathy, and I'd say, "Oh, my heart hurts for you." And I stopped that crap real fast, because as I began to realize I was creating some heart challenges, because I even would put my hand here. And I probably learned that from my mom. She was always talking about her heart. And so then organ language is this. It has many, many categories. One of the categories is, I can't stand that guy. And pretty soon, every time that person walks in a room, my legs begin to hurt me, because I can't stand him. Now you're catching it, huh? Yeah, that's a good one. And as we go further with that organ language, there are many, many phrases. There are many phrases. Phrases are, every time I've got to deal with that, it gives me a headache. That person gives me a headache. And I remember one time sitting down to having dinner with some friends. My mother was with. My mother used to do hypnosis also. We both got into hypnosis around the same time. I'll tell you that story another time. And we were with some friends, and this one friend, a wife of somebody, was saying, I can't go to that wedding because I always get headaches. And my mother said, well, that's why you don't do anything, because you're creating a headache so you don't have to do it. The woman was sort of like shocked, but that's what she was doing. She would create a headache every time she had to do something she didn't feel like doing. And I go a little further, and I think to myself the phrase that says, that guy turns my stomach. Wow, wonder what it feels like to turn your stomach. Maybe it feels like digestion or diarrhea or something, because turning my stomach sounds like kind of a crazy. I could think of my stomach rumbling. So I use these phrases of organ language, and there are many. If you have an interest, you can send me a note on my email, larrygarrett.gwc@gmail, and I'd be glad to send you a great article on organ language. Organ language is a powerful language to learn. If we could learn to be aware of what we're saying, we will protect our body more. We will. And that's my goal. You hear me talk about these things, and here I am talking to you whenever I can, throwing out some kind of information about living longer. If I wasn't who I was, and I didn't live what I live, it would be difficult for me to share these stories with you. But I do walk the talk, and I have great thoughts about that. And I feel like this: if we are at peace, nobody could mess with us. Nobody. When we feel at peace, everything's okay. Even if it's not okay, we could make it okay. It might be okay. I think of the phrases that we use sometime in language as says, what if you don't make it? Make what? Did you ever hear that phrase? What if you don't make it in life, kid? What if you don't make it? I'm not sure what that means, but it lingers as an open-ended statement that says we can't get there. Get where? I don't know where they're talking about making it, getting there. So we need to be aware. Be aware of the language you speak. Be aware of the body parts you speak of when you speak to somebody. There are many. There are many. How about this one? I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And my good friend John Bannock, he does Rolfing at our office, and he always says, you know why as we get older we walk like this? Gravity starts pulling us down. So if you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and your shoulders start feeling like they're pulling down gradually, you could expect to start walking like that. I don't want to. I do not want to. You know, I celebrate 80 years on this earth this year. This is my 80th year. And I always say this one, I don't know everything in 80 years, but I've been around the block quite a few times. And did you ever go around the block? Another metaphor? And you see a building and say, oh, I never saw that building before. And it was built in 1905 and it's been sitting there for all these years. And you go around the block and just spotted it today. So today's a wonderful day. Be aware of the language you use. And I love you. And please share my messages if they're good for you. And we will talk soon. Thank you so much. Bye now.